Hello and welcome to another edition of the Advancio Talk podcast, live from InsurTech in Vegas. Today we have a very special guest with us, Arnab Dey. Arnab, welcome.
Thank you, Kareem. Thank you for inviting me to your show.
It's a pleasure to have you. Arnab, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you're here for.
So at Docklands.ai, we are singularly focused on working with PNC insurance carriers to focus on their loss costs. One of the big problems that's happening in this industry is social inflation, and litigation risk management is key. And so our AI platform looks into unstructured data for litigation risk management, risk signals, and flags it so that the claims adjusters can take a faster, better decision on how to proceed with the claims.
It's very fascinating. Actually, the key word there is getting data from unstructured data. So that requires a lot of geeky stuff.
Yes, we are a bunch of geeks. Yes. And it's a confluence, as you rightly pointed out, Kareem, it's a confluence of three factors. One is unstructured documents. Literally, there are millions of pages across thousands of documents that are coming in. So unstructured document is a big pain point in the insurance industry.
Absolutely.
And today, the technology actually exists for the first time for us to search through these documents, search for relevant contexts, and take better decisions. And last but not the least, technology only serves the purpose of bringing business value. So the whole point is about being laser focused on reducing loss costs through better actions that can be taken.
Now, talking about technology, we are in the insurance technology mecca of the world. And there's a lot of insurtech. There's a lot of new companies that are upping up, doing new things, innovative things. Tell us a little bit, how has technology shaped the insurance landscape?
Technology has shaped every landscape in this world, right? So, and technology, the most recent trends in large language models essentially has made, is a step jump from the neural network models that we used to have. And right now they are more user friendly as well, where, middle schoolers are able to do their homework from using AI. So this is like one of those events in history. I remember the last one was when search came to picture. This is one of those events in history where suddenly a technology has a very complex piece of technology is affordable and is very user friendly that middle schoolers can use. And so insurance, and we see across the board, across all the carriers that we work with, insurance companies are making use of it because it's not it's a must-have in today's world. That's a fundamental shift.
And let's not forget, we're in the business of insurance, which is averting risk. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's
right. How do we get to this insurance culture of keep things as is, run business the same way, and at the same time convince them that the way to go is to adopt these, yes, less than perfect technology at the infancy.
Yeah.
Nothing is perfect. But what do you think is missing there for a higher adoption of these new technologies?
Right. See, first of all, I think being in the insurance industry, we often are very hard on ourselves, right? Value from risk management is very hard to show. How do you show that you are able to skillfully avoid something? Because by the very fact, you being successful means that observation was not recorded, right?
That's
so
right.
as risk managers in insurance, it's a tougher thing to do PR as opposed to selling candies, where you can actually count the number of candies you sold, the number of pennies you counted, And so it's clear out there. So yes, there is a little bit of perception, and perception is reality, that insurance companies are slow to adopt. The second thing that is commonly overlooked is insurance is, you're not, all risks are not the same. So insurance as a whole, like auto insurance is probably one group, but then there are multiple, and then that too, policy, like the products are different. So insurance companies have a big overhang of legacy systems, and that is the second piece of how do you handle legacy. How are you able to drive the car while you are changing the tires, so to speak? And those two are fundamentally some of the big roadblocks that we face. And I'm referring to property and casualty insurance.
Right.
Yes. But what's amazing, Kareem, is as I look across this conference today, and look at the hundreds of booths that are there, the solutions that people are bringing to bear have been practically vetted by the carriers, which gives there's ample evidence that the innovation teams, the business lines within the carriers, are embracing new technology, right, and are reducing the friction in a great way to use these technologies for serving their customers better.
And maybe that's a good segue, probably an answer to my next question, which was going to be, there's such a buzz around the word AI nowadays. Even though AI historically has been around since the 60s, and machine learning since the 90s, right? We've had AI, but the fast rate of adoption of AI today has to do with the point you just mentioned right now, which is a lot of these solutions have somehow been vetted. It seems like organizations are more open to give it a chance to startups to explore within their data sets and play with it. They're getting out of that mentality of a legacy company and trying to disrupt from within and act a little bit as an internal startup. Um, in your opinion, what could be causing this? Why are they treating AI in particular differently than than new technology that has come up? I mean, including cognitive services back in the day.
Right, right. That's a great question, Kareem. So first of all, um, anytime, and it goes back to history, anytime um something has gone through a very fast rate of adoption, has to do with it adding tremendous value, it being affordable, and it being easy to use. So let's talk about the areas of AI where there are many areas of AI where the evidence of those three factors are out there. So let's talk. The three big areas in my mind are image detection, second is conversational AI, and third is document processing. So today, researchers are saying that radiologists, right, the image detection technology actually does a better job of figuring out malignancy and other forms of cysts better than the most accomplished radiologists, right? And we know that the image detection is better than the human eye. There was an article that was there and cited in one of the major publications where the accuracy rates of this technology is better than um, what the human eye can detect. So the fact every time we are going through an airport, we are going through image detection, right? So technology, and it is out there, and insurance companies have also been utilizing image detection, particularly around slips and falls. How do you get a video recording to actually detect automatically whether there was a true slip and fall or it was a staged accident, right? So some of these, so image detection is one area. The second area is conversational AI, and now chatbots, as we well know, has added tremendous speed to customer interaction, and it's a lot better than what IVR used to be. You remember the days
Yes,
of IVR, so
absolutely.
it works. It's getting to be affordable, and it's easy to use because it's automatic. And lastly, in this area of document processing, where we are in, the technology is rapidly evolving and we are able to read documents. And recently, all of us saw that ChatGPT passed the bar, right? And so, when you have technology passing the bar, right, then
It's
something
ready
has
for
to be,
adoption.
it's ready for adoption, right?
Very fascinating, Arnab. Uh, Coming to almost at the end of our podcast, very fascinating.
What is
Let's
your
talk.
sense, Kareem? What is the top three things that you are seeing in this conference? And you have been in this circuit for 10 years, running a very successful company. Uh, what is new? What's fascinating out here?
I really believe that machine learning and data prediction predictive analytics has always been top mind, and it's always been from a prevention side or product building side. The shift that I'm seeing is that AI today is more about customer experience as well. It's more about automation and making things run faster. Whereas, like you said previously, um, pe- companies were comfortable in legacy. It's like if it's not broken, don't fix it. What I see today is like if it's not broken, try to do it faster.
Yes.
So you see a lot of adoption of RPA. You see a lot of adoption of sometimes even full rewrites of middleware to kind of have API integrations. And then, of course, all this stuff really facilitates the cognitive services or the new LLM models, which I think are gonna eventually get better. I really believe that we don't see that as much. I mean, there's few companies like yours that are doing a good job at it, from like document extraction, understanding what a document is. I think the next phase is actually have cognitive AI be able to actually understand an underwriting guideline and underwrite the policy on its own,
That's right.
as opposed to just find out where and mark a check mark. So I think we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Technology's not there yet, but if we don't apply it today and understand its limitations and understand that it's a technology that's going to enhance the way we do work, it's not going to replace us, we're never going to get to the next phase.
That's very well said, Kareem. One of the things that we believe is, large language model is like learning English, but then to become an underwriter, you have to take an underwriting course. To be a good claims adjuster, you need to go through claims adjustment course, right? And what it translates to in our world is, how do you take basic large language models that can read English, train them in as claims adjuster, right? So how do you know, like it's not common knowledge that falls over two-story is the determining factor. You kind of get it that it's a big fall versus a short fall,
Yes.
right? But knowing that more than two-story is the determining factor and creates a leap jump, that's subject knowledge. That's like the domain mastery. So the focus number one is, how do you take large language models, aka I know English and I can read, to making sense out of what we are reading. So one of the things that we do in DocLens is, we, for example, know that we are looking for signals like, did the accident involve multiple fractures because of distracted driving in Miami-Dade County, Florida. Now each of these nuggets have a value equation associated with it, right? The second thing that we have to be very cognizant about in this industry is, how do you marry this enormous technology, great technology, with good third party data? One of the challenges that every carrier faces is, well, now I have to there's a fixed cost to training up the models. And that's something that at Docklands we are basically have taken the approach that there is enough third-party data out there. Why can't we train the models on third-party data? So have a generic domain course, right? And then have a very specific career course, which has to be trained on the career data. So how can you decouple that? How can you reduce the fixed cost investment that carriers have to make and say, okay, create an industry-wide data lake and have the large language models trained on it and have an industry-wide signal hub. So that's the second thing that we are doing. And lastly, something that you also that you said that resonated with us is it's not about the fact that I found about distracted driving. What do I do about it?
Exactly. Actionable technology.
Actionable technology, right? And this has no AI in it. These is totally business, right? We don't want AI to be saying, what do I like? I don't want AI to be taking the action. I want AI to point. It's like a guidance, and then lawyers know what is to be done if you find a case with multiple injuries. So we think about it as a guidance tool, as opposed to in the past most of the technology had been a workflow automation. So this is more around guidance, autopilot or a cockpit or an airport control tower of sort, where you're like in that movie where the Beautiful Mind, where you're looking across multiple risk signals and building out a very holistic picture from unstructured documents.
I think Microsoft picked the right name for it. They called it Copilot. And the reason for that is because you, as the user, you are the pilot, you are the captain, you making all the decisions. What AI does is that it gives you input that you otherwise probably haven't been aware of, or maybe would have taken you a long time to. And I think once we realize that, we'll be able to advance this industry a lot faster. Now, touching on your point of data, I totally agree. I mean, data is a very sensitive subject. You can't talk to any organization about their data without them cringing. It's a highly regulated industry, we understand, but you're absolutely right. I mean, if we're find a way, and which is, by the way, something AI could help with this, if we can find a way to abstract personal data information and just make sure that we're only providing profile-like data as opposed to actual data, I think there's definitely ways for all these companies to collaborate and have this big data lake that we're talking about, so that as a big training model for companies to do better, which ultimately will just, if we're able to avoid accidents on rainy days when the temperature is between 70 and 60 degrees and there happens to be a glass construction down the street, hey, let's do that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm all for that. Arnab, what a fascinating, fascinating conversation.
Story.
You wanna, just give us some last words. What are you, food for thought before we end this episode?
So I think as I look at this InsurTech, it's just fascinating around the focus on large language models. As you a few years back, it was to be on the cloud or not to be, right? I don't hear that question, which means that it has been dusted off and people have implemented and moving on. It will be fascinating over the next 5 years. To LLM or not to LLM, and once we stop asking that question, that would be good. Large language models do have biases. We should be unforgiving on machine errors. We should be forgiving on human errors. And artificial intelligence mirrors human intelligence, so there will be errors. So it will be fascinating to see how together we are able to reduce the errors, increase the accuracy levels, and how this pans out. But you know what? Love this venue, InsurTech. They have been doing a great job over the last several years. It's such a wonderful place to have innovators, implementers, business leaders, startups, mature companies out here. And this is the Medici effect that people talk about, of people coming from different spheres and this is where tangible ideas translates to action. So a big shout out to InsurTech, ITC out here, and for a fantastic job that they keep doing every year.
Absolutely. Shout out to ITC. They're doing a great job. I kind of keep getting amazed every year, but the level of the people that I meet, it's fascinating to see all these passionate people about technology and truly wanting to make an impact in the insurance space. It's always good to see. And it was a pleasure really having you over.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all for paying attention. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.